Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. Missed you on Sunday and Monday. Was quite hectic here. Getting ready for Hanukkah. This week's Torah portion is Vayishlach. It's a remarkable portion which begins with, in Vayetze we read about Jacob leaving his home in Israel with his parents, Isaac and Rebekah, and going to Haran, to Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq, Turkey. And this week, we read about Jacob finally returning to confront his brother. He was in Haran. He spent 20 years by his uncle Lavan. He married his wives. He had 11 of his children. He gained his wealth. Very successful through all the obstacles of his uncle and father-in-law cheating him. Has his children, and finally, after Joseph is born, the rabbis say Jacob is ready to confront Esau. And Jacob plans a three-pronged way to address this. The first is, he of course prays. And then he plans to try to appease his brother, to make peace. I'll give him gifts. What's he upset? The blessings that I got from my father. I'll give him whatever I have. I'll give him cattle. I'll give him sheep. I'll give him anything he wants. And then, of course, he gets ready to protect his family. That in case Esau won't, he's going to use the strength and fight back to protect his family. And one of the things he does is he tells his servants to get these herds of sheep. And that before he meets Esau, he wants Esau to see all these herds of sheep. So he should see the gifts that are there for Esau. And he says to his servants, V'revach tasimu bein eder leider. He says, put a space them out between each herd of sheep. And the rabbis ask a question, why would he want his servants to space them out? What difference does it make? And the simple meaning, of course, is because Jacob was hoping that maybe if there was space between them, it would look like there was much more. And Esau would see one herd, and then it would stop, and then he would see another herd of sheep. Wow, look what he's giving me. And then a third and a fourth. But there's a beautiful, mystical, and spiritual interpretation to this. And the rabbis say it like this. In life, we have many blessings that constantly come on us. But very often, because of the hustle and bustle and busyness of life, we never put a space between each blessing. We never pause to acknowledge the blessings that God has given us, to be cognizant of all that we have in our life. We're running from one to the next, from one child to the next, from work to leisure, to vacation, to weekends, to our kids' errands, to the things we have to do. And we never just pause to say, wow, look what's in my life. Look at my children. Look at my spouse. Look at my parents. Look at my home. Look at my vacation. Says Jacob, the blessing is that between each herd, put a pause between each blessing you have, a time to be able to acknowledge that which God has given us. In Judaism, every morning we have the Berchot HaShachar, which is the blessing we say in the morning, which allow us to appreciate the fact that we got up in the morning, the fact that we're breathing, the fact that we're standing upright, the fact that we could see, the fact that we could hear, the fact that we could smell, the fact that we could talk, the fact that we could walk, and the fact that we could smile and be happy. I've been thinking so much about what's been going on, especially since about July time. We all know what happened on October 7th. The rug was pulled out from under the Jewish people. Never did we feel so vulnerable, so much pain. 1,200 Jews murdered, raped, butchered. 100 hostages still in captivity. And then, sometime in July, from when Israel killed the second in command in Hezbollah, Shukar was his name, in a building in Lebanon. And then Ismail Haniyeh, the head of Hamas. And then came the pagers and the radios and the beepers. And then Israel wiped out every one of the leadership in Hezbollah. Decimated their capabilities. And what they planned to do to us was so much worse than what Hamas did. Till we got them on their knees for a plea deal. Then to watch what happened in Syria in the last 10 days alone. How a nation that for 50 years has been under dictatorship and fought Israel. So many wars, the Yom Kippur War, the 6-Day War, right overlooking us in Mount Hermon. And in 10 days, decimated, gone. Assad had to run away to Russia. His henchmen had to go on fake passports to Lebanon with Hezbollah. And here we are, in 2 days, Israel bombed over 350 places in Syria. Every single plane that they had from Russia, every tank, their science and chemical things they were researching, and the things that they had, Israel wiped everything out. Israel took Mount Hermon, the highest peak point. Israel doesn't have any spot as high as Mount Hermon, but it was in Syria. And when the drones were coming in from Iran and from Lebanon, Israel's alert systems sometimes couldn't see the ones that were coming low because they weren't high enough. And now we're on Mount Hermon, and we took over the buffer zone. And suddenly Hamas is willing to do a deal because they realize they're isolated. In fact, Israel just went back to Cairo. And it looks like, God willing, in the next few days, we'll be able to get hostages home. Iran is shaking. They had a meeting today. And if you thought of each of these things, I just rattled off 10 things. But if you thought of each of these things, imagine if we put a pause between each one and thought about what has been going on. The blessings, the hand of God. We're surrounded by 7 nations that want to kill us, fighting 7 wars at once. Yet, single-handedly, Israel is reshaping the Middle East. Unbelievable. And the same is in our own lives. And I know people struggle. And I hear every day, this one is going through a divorce. And this one, his mother is sick. And this one, their daughter is sick. And this one, their son is not feeling well. And this one lost their job. And there's no question that there's pain. But if we put pause between every single blessing we have, then we would be happier people. Then we would acknowledge that which we have. We would be able to appreciate it. And God willing, we would have more. So I think that's a powerful message that Jacob sends us. And I hope that we're able to do it on a communal level as the Jewish people and as a personal level in our own lives. Have a great day.